There he is, Nikki V.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? We've got some people loading up in here. So far, we've got about 17 people in here. I expect that there'll probably be more coming in. Um,
Cool.
so we'll wait. They're just casually coming in still. What game you got on right now?
Royals, Yankees.
Yeah. Who we rooting for? Who do we root for when we're not in season?
I'm
There
rooting for a good game, man.
you go. There's a media trained answer.
Yeah, right.
Uh, how's it going with how was your brother's first season?
He did well, man. He just did rookie ball down at the complex. Did really well.
For those that don't know, Nick's brother also just recently got drafted this year into the Orioles organization, and that's probably something maybe we'll touch on, maybe not, but I wanted to just ask about that.
Yeah,
Where's did so he did the complex and then he's gonna go where to Del Marva next year, maybe?
yeah, yeah. Possibly Delmarva, maybe High A, Aberdeen. I know they're kind of pushing guys through the system nowadays, especially with the limited amount of roster spots we have now. So
Definitely.
kind of a different process nowadays.
Yeah. How many teams y'all rocking now? Four,
Hmm.
including
Yeah, we got
is the DSL still?
Yeah, they spent over $4 million on that complex down there. It's
Really?
beautiful. Yeah, it's really nice. So they have a complex league down there, complex league in Sarasota, and then Delmarva, Aberdeen, Bowie, Norfolk.
Love it.
So
Love it. Well, actually, it's 9:04. I think we've got a good amount of people in here. Let's just go ahead and get it kicked off. So, everybody, I really, really appreciate y'all taking time out of your days and out of your lives, especially with October playoff baseball going on, to join this call. Super excited. This is something that I host, on a weekly basis with guys in my community, but I wanted to open up this specific call so that everybody had an opportunity to hear the kind of story and journey that Nick has been on from his evolution from high school all the way to playing at the professional level and ultimately getting the opportunity to step on the big league mound. Nick couldn't be a better person. I'm super excited for y'all to hear about his journey and pick his brain a little bit today. Nick, for you just to know, like you've got an assortment of parents on here, you've got an assortment of kids on here, you've got an assortment of college athletes, high school athletes, like everybody here is in different, evolutions of their own journey. So there's going to be an array of questions, guys in high school looking to understand how you went through your recruiting process, guys in college looking to see how that, scouting process went. And then maybe there's a pro guy hidden in here somewhere. I know that there's, one of my coaches has a lot of pro clients that are in here possibly that are
cool.
maybe just looking to see how the minor league system went. So, without
Awesome.
further ado, guys, I mentioned this. I'll say it one more time. If you have questions, simply please raise your hand in the chat. If you can't do that, go ahead and put your question in the chat or just raise your hand. Other than that, we should be all good. At the end of the 30 minutes, we'll open it up for Q&A and we'll answer as many questions as we can before 10 o'clock, and then we'll end it there to be respectful of everybody's time. Also, I see that you're rocking the shirt. I appreciate that. Forgot that you got that. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Delivered
That
in
gets me
Yankee
fired
Stadium.
up. Quick
Delivered in Yankee
story, I
Stadium.
delivered that to him in Yankee Stadium when he was making an appearance there. That's awesome that you're repping that. I really appreciate it. I'm not even gonna lie, I forgot that I even gave that to you. Uh, Sweet. Appreciate you plugging us.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So I think just where to start this off, man. I think everybody, starts in a similar, position, and it's like, from high school. How do you go from high school to college, and just kind of give us the updates on who you are and how you've kind of gotten to where you're at right now.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, first of all, Nick Vespi. Been playing professional baseball for 10 years now. I grew up part of my life, or majority of my life, in Ohio, in Florida. I started my high school baseball career in Ohio, Northwest Ohio to be exact. Played up until my freshman and sophomore year, and then moved down to Florida for my junior and senior year. I attended a baseball academy down here in South Florida called Elevate Baseball Academy. Um, and then from there, I went to Palm Beach State Junior College. And it was kind of a unique experience for me because in high school, I was kind of my freshman and sophomore year, I was heavily recruited. And then after my sophomore year, I started struggling health wise. Shoulder would hurt, elbow would hurt. And I had to take some time off. So I kind of lost a little bit of opportunity there. And then my junior year, when I moved down here, I wasn't committed until the spring season of my senior season. Um, and I was at a batting cage one day taking some BP, and a guy approached me and said, "Hey, are you committed to go play college ball yet?" And I wasn't committed. So he hooked me up with a coach over at Palm Beach State. His name's Coach Forbes. Ended up signing a scholarship there. And then I played one season at Palm Beach State. Got drafted in the 18th round to the Baltimore Orioles, and I've been with the Orioles ever since there. Once I got to the Orioles system, I was in rookie ball for 2 seasons. I did 2 extended spring trainings with the Orioles, and then finally I got promoted to what's called short season. It's not existent anymore due to the minor league job cuts. But I played a season in short season, and then I went to low A, and that's when I was teammates with the man himself, and played 3 seasons in low A, and then COVID happened. Took a year off of COVID, didn't get any opportunity to pitch that year. Kind of went back to the drawing board little bit, and kind of reinvented myself. Not necessarily reinvented, but kind of sharpened some stuff up in my pitching arsenal. And once COVID was over in 21, I skipped high A from low A, went to double A, pitched really well there, got promoted up to triple A, became a minor league free agent after that season in 21, ended up signing back with the Orioles in a minor league deal, went to the Arizona Fall League, did that whole thing, and that's what kind of boosted my career. That's what I always tell everyone is if you get a chance to go to the fall league, it's kind of a big deal for you. And then when I came back in 22, I debuted, and yeah, from 22 until this year, I've been up and down in the big leagues. I don't know if anyone's familiar with how it works being on the 40-man roster and pro ball, but there's this thing is called options, and being a relief pitcher, they like to push you up and down from the big leagues to the AAA and what's needed for the big league club. So there would be times I'd go up and pitch with the big league club for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I would get shipped off to Norfolk AAA, and kind of did the bounce back and forth. And yeah, we're here. We are today.
Let's go, dude. What an incredible journey, man. I mean, literally, that's what it is. You're a journeyman. I think a lot of people on this call don't necessarily realize the uh, journey, quite simply, that it takes to go from, having a desire to play in high school to trying to get to a big league mound, and like what it looks like after you leave high school for the first time. So, can you just kind of walk us back into what it was like for you to go through that recruiting process? Maybe talk about how it was to be heavily recruited, and then like how that process worked. And then once the offers didn't come in the way that you wanted them to, like how did you go about ultimately finding the school that you wanted to go to, and what maybe proactive steps did you take? And maybe hindsight 2020, what would you go back and, recommend to yourself if you could do it again?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's kind of a unique experience for me. My freshman and sophomore year, I pitched for a baseball club called Midland. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a pretty big travel ball team there. I was throwing really well. Was getting a lot of D1 offers um, across the board, but I wasn't really committed. I wasn't really trying to commit myself to a school just yet, being that young. I know a lot of kids nowadays are committing when they're in seventh, eighth grade, which is great. But yeah, that was kind of a cool thing for me to kind of receive some offers to go to college. And a lot of times, like I'll give a piece of advice here. A lot of times, kids will get their first offer to go play baseball at the next level, and they get super excited about it, and they just want to commit to that school. Um, and a lot of times, once you get one offer to go to college, other colleges start to learn more about you, and they start throwing offers at you as well. So I can't really speak on the college recruiting process that's going on nowadays, because it's a lot different with the NIL, and shoot, half of you guys that will go play college ball will probably get paid. Um, but yeah, that was a cool experience for me my freshman and sophomore year, and then yeah, after my sophomore year, I kind of had like a little elbow thing going on. Nothing too serious, and I didn't have to have any surgery or anything. But it was kind of like I kind of fell off the perfect game charts, or I'm sure they still do that nowadays. But yeah, I just kind of lost my rankings on that, and didn't really get that many D1 offers. And then signing on to junior college.
Well,
Junior college,
let's pause right there because I
yeah,
think that's something that is on everyone's mind, especially with the high school kids and parents in here, is Perfect Game. Perfect Game is still alive and well.
right.
From your experience, did Perfect Game help you? Did it not help you? Like, was it just a bunch of stats that didn't really mean anything, or do you think it really played a factor into, your overall journey?
Is playing in those perfect game tournaments is kind of a good experience for them. I know a lot of it's a money racket, but um, if you can go expose yourself in front of other talented athletes and you have success against them, I know a lot of times for me, especially my junior and senior year, I was throwing against kids that were committed to big D1 schools all the time. Um, and I wasn't necessarily at the top of the recruiting process with them, but I had success against them, and that's kind of what helped elevate my name as a baseball player, to play in those tournaments and get invited to the All American games and stuff like that. I think is a it's if you get that opportunity, that's definitely something you should take up.
Awesome. And so you and I are both products of JUCO. I don't think either one of us had JUCO mapped out on our journey of playing, baseball when we set out when we were kids. But, I, for one, learned so much about myself and then also the level of talent that comes out of JUCO. I think a lot of people hear JUCO and they think, oh my God, I'm not good enough to play at a school. Why would I ever
Right.
go to JUCO? JUCO is only for the guys who couldn't get a big time offer or quite honestly are too dumb to get into a school. Like, what do you have to say about JUCO and that route that you took?
Um, I went the JUCO route. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It's like I didn't go D1. But that honestly gave me the opportunity to pitch against good talent. And when you go to junior college, you don't have to wait until your junior year or till you're 21 to get drafted. I did the 1 year and got drafted, so that was kind of cool for me. But honestly, going into my junior college season, I didn't really have that many high expectations. I was excited to play at the next level. My goals were set on playing my 2 years in junior college and going to a D1 school. My dream school was always Florida State. Being down here in Florida, that's where I wanted to go and where I was most likely going to commit. But I pitched well and kind of made a name for myself in the pro ball world, and got the opportunity to sign, and signed in the 18th round. But going back on what you have to say about junior college, the kind of talent in junior college is super unique too. When I was at Palm Beach State, there was a bunch of articles coming out on how we were the best pitching rotation in all of college baseball. I pitch with guys. One of my teammates is also pitching in the big leagues now, Peter Strzelecki. He's from this area. Went to Palm Beach State. And then he went to USF for his last 2 years, and he signed a free agent deal with the Brewers. And now he's pitching with the Guardians. We might even see him in the playoffs here. Um, but the talent at any level, honestly, after high school, D3, JUCO, D2, D1. I mean, if you get an opportunity to go play at the next level, you make the most of it. And obviously, pro ball. every kid wants to play pro ball. Hopefully, if you go to college, if you just want to go play college ball, that's great. I mean, you're going to make memories and learn things about being a man and being a good teammate. All those things definitely prepare you for life in general. Um, but yeah, junior college baseball for me, honestly, saved my career. Um, didn't yeah, just didn't really when I went to JUCO, like I said, it was pro ball wasn't really in sights. But after my fall season and spring season, I got drafted. So it was like no D1 offers, JUCO wanting to go D1, didn't even get to go D1, and just signed to play professional. So yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about junior college baseball.
Heck yeah, man. And when you look back on the trajectory that you took to get to where you're at right now, what is something that if were coaching a younger version of you, you would go back and say like, "Hey, I made this mistake. I maybe should have focused a little bit more here," or "Hey, I shouldn't have done these things. I thought, yeah, I was putting my time in the right places, but at the end of the day, I wasn't." Like, what are some things that you've identified after going through this journey that you can give back here?
Yeah, I would say being in the weight room. For me, I wasn't really committing myself to lifting weights and kind of focusing on that. And I know things are a lot more advanced nowadays. I didn't have a guy like Dela to get me right, but yeah, I would say if I could go back to my 14, 15, or however old everyone is, I would say just committing my time to training. Um, I was a three sport athlete, played football, basketball, and baseball. So there was times for me to lift, but it was kind of like baseball year round, and I'd mix in the football and basketball stuff. But yeah, if I could go back for sure, I would get on a legit weightlifting routine for sure.
And now kind of transitioning, and that's great. Yeah, definitely, guys. I tell you guys all the time. Hopefully now you listen. But now transitioning over to the guys that are in college, and that step between graduating high school and you getting drafted, and then the time that you spent in which you would have been in college during that time frame. Like, what are some things that you've got advice for guys in college right now that they can do to help enhance their draft prospects?
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to remember when you go to college, most of those guys on your team were their best player, were the best players on their high school teams. So kind of identifying what you do best as an athlete, as yourself, as a baseball player, right? Just kind of identifying who you are, identifying your strengths, but also identifying your weaknesses, right? Because those are the things that kind of bring us down. Um, but yeah, I would say identifying the things you're good at and being really good at them, and also just being a coach to yourself and saying, hey man, I struggle with hitting the ball to right field, or I struggle with curveball command or fastball command. I can't throw an inner part of the plate. Just kind of honing down on those things, and obviously in a competitive environment, it gets kind of tough because you got to go out there and compete. But knowing that you guys are still young and there's a development process in that time that you guys need to take serious.
Great. In a world in which we live in now, where velo is everything and that's all anybody wants to talk about, you've seemed to have success by not being somebody who's overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing like what you throw, but can you talk about how you view the game of baseball that's not from a velo standpoint, and how you've been able to have success with your repertoire?
Yeah, no, I throw cut fastball, 88 to 92 miles an hour. I'm left-handed, obviously. If you watch the videos, the curveball, 12-6 curveball, and then my best pitch is my sweeper. It's a big slider. I like to throw, and I also throw a one seam fastball. It's kind of it acts as a two seam, but we call it a one seam because I cut the ball and it naturally spins the other way. But yeah, for me, that's something I've kind of struggled in a way in my career because a lot of guys will, you turn on the game right now, everyone's throwing 95 plus. And I kind of got overlooked a lot of my career. And honestly, I can say I still do to this day. Um, but that never obviously brought me down or yeah, I obviously still want to throw harder too, but just attacking the zone. That's something for me that I always tell kids is attack the zone with every pitch, and throw it with conviction because, there's been times where a guy will go up there and throw 100 miles an hour and he's getting his bill spun, it's letting up homers, hard hits. And then I'll get in there and I'll make hitters look like fools. I could tell you guys a story off that. I went to the fall league, like I said earlier. It's kind of a prospect league
Yeah.
for the minor leagues. And I made the all-star team that year. And I was sitting down in the bullpen. I was looking around at all the guys, and every single guy that was down in that bullpen threw 97 plus. The whole entire game, no one threw a pitch under 95, right? And I went in that, I believe it was the eighth inning, and everyone was getting hit, doing all this, and I went in and struck out the side. And that kind of like reassured me that, hey, you don't have to throw 100 to have success at the professional level. Um, yeah, a lot of GMs want you to throw 100 because you can be less perfect, but there is definitely a place for everyone in the game that is able to compete, and fill up the strike zone.
Definitely. No, that's great stuff, man. I think that that can get lost in the world that we live in today with everything that's going on with Velo.
For
You know,
sure.
last thing before I open it up to some question and answers from everybody here, but can you just talk about the overall dedication, commitment, and consistency that one, you either didn't have when you were younger and like you've identified now, or two, that like you've always had that's helped you become successful and helped you get to where you're at? Because as you know, we both know, like once you get to a certain level, like talent ceases to matter. Like everybody's super talented. So like how has somebody like you who's been in professional baseball for 10 years evolved in the way that you go about your business compared to, when you were a senior in high school or a, freshman in college?
Yeah. I would say after my high school career and going into junior college baseball, I eat, sleep, breathe baseball. I always, ever since I picked up a ball or a bat, I've always wanted to play in the MLB, to be up at that level. So I think for me, that was something that, I would wake up every single day and I would think, what can I do today to help me get to the big leagues? Um, and that's something I still do to this day. There will be times in the off season, some will post I'll go be on Instagram and someone will post a workout video, and I had already worked out that day and I'll see him doing something. I'll say, man, did I do enough today? Um, but really committing yourself to the game, it helps you stick around and also evolve as an athlete. I know early in my career with the Orioles, I had a skipper tell me about the 1% better effect. And it's true. If you wake up every day and you try and be 1% better than you were the day before, uh, you just gain a percentage. If you do it every day of your life, you're always going to be 1% better. You're not going to be a big leaguer overnight. You're not going to be a college baseball player overnight. You're not going to be the best player on your high school team overnight. Um, there's a process to everything, and when you live by that process, good things will happen. Even if you don't make it to a level you want to play at in life, baseball has kind of taught me, and I still play, but baseball has taught me how to be driven and keep focused on my career, in all walks of life, right? Like being respectful, being a good teammate, being a good. I'm now a fiance, so being a good fiance to my fiance, um, just being a good person, man. I think when you really hone in, who you are and do that 1% better, good things will happen.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been talking to a lot of the kids, I know in my own group and trying to spread more awareness about is how in order to become an elite level baseball player on the field, there's so many different aspects in your life that you have to like make sure you're staying on top of, right? Like if
Right.
you're only focused on, trying to be a great baseball player, but at the end of the day, like you're, uh, not focused on what you're putting into your body, or your time management sucks, or your sleep sucks, or your relationships suck. Like all of these things take mental energy away from you, and then that leads you with less energy to focus on the game. So can you touch on like how focusing on different aspects of your life and like taking care of those has helped you become a better baseball player? I'm not sure if I lost him here. Hmm. Did I lose Nick or did y'all lose me?
I think we lost him.
Oh, there he goes. He's back. Appreciate you, John. And Nick, you're on mute, brother.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
Oh, sorry.
All good. All good. You get my
Um,
question?
what's that?
You hear my question?
Ask it again. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. I just wanted to. So one of the things I've been focusing on with the kids in my community and some of this uh, word that I'm trying to spread about is how you have to be able to take care of all of these different aspects in your life in order to have focus on the baseball field, whether it's your relationships with your family or whether it's the time management, where you're spending your energy, your sleep, your nutrition, like all of these different things impact how you perform the game. And I just wanted to see if you could touch on how cleaning up those different aspects of your life has helped you be able to focus a little bit more on the grind
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. No, I discipline, right? So discipline also falls in the same definition of being a professional. Being a professional and being disciplined about your day to day life, right? Like making your bed in the morning, hygiene, getting your schoolwork done, uh, doing that extra rep in the cage, doing that extra rep in the weight room, doing that extra rep on the mound. Um, all those things seem so small, right? But when you start adding up all the small things, it becomes something big. And that's something I'm extremely thankful that I did. And I took serious when I started playing pro ball was I took all those little things so serious. Um, Getting the right amount of sleep, stuff like that. It's really helped me to continue to play this game and play at the level I'm at. So I would say just yeah, just kind of honing in on those small day to day things have helped me become, and I've seen my teammates kind of grow as men too, just to help us go about our days, and it becomes second nature. Just being a pro and being humble and doing things the right way will go a long ways.
Yep. And I promise this is the last one here, and then I'll ask everybody else. But I know, having gone through it myself, and you're going through it a little bit longer than I have, but like we both know how hard it is to continuously like wake up and like move forward, even on days that you don't want to move forward, and do the extra reps and go to the gym for the 100th time and show up to the field on game 130
Yeah.
of the season. Like how it's so hard to do that stuff. But can you just talk about the feeling and how it all was worth it when you finally, got that call that you were going,
Yeah.
to the big leagues?
I one thing I like to say is those days that you don't want to go to the weight room, or those days you don't want to go play catch or throw a side, or there's going to be days that you don't want to do anything, you don't even want to get up out of your bed. Those are the days you get better. The days that you want to get up, yeah, you get better, but the days that you don't and you have that discipline to push yourself, I mean, it's almost like a boost in your performance. And yeah, being in the minor leagues and kind of repeating the same level, 3 years in low A. I mean, there was times I was calling my dad and saying, "Hey, Dad, like, what do I do? I'm stuck. I feel like anything I do, I'm not getting to the next level." And my dad's a military guy, and he's like, "Hey, listen, you committed to this, you committed your life to this, keep going. And kind of leaning on your support system too. When you don't want to get up and go to the weight room and stuff like that. You know, a lot of parents are very competitive, and a lot of parents want to see their kids shine. And I know there's parents that are hard on their kids, or there's some parents that kind of take it easy on them and kind of let them walk. Um, but hey, those are all great things, right? Like my parents for me kind of pushed me, and I also have three brothers, right? That kind of helped me go through that stuff too, and kind of taught me that discipline to go about my day. But yeah, when you push through that kind of stuff, and shoot, I played through my minor league career. No one thought I was going to pitch in the big leagues. Honestly, I felt like I was going to be a career minor leaguer. And then my life changed. In 2022, I got an opportunity to go out there and pitch, and great things are coming. And yeah, it's been great.
Heck yeah, man. I'm super proud of you. I want to say in front of all these people, man, like I'm super proud of you. Somebody who's I've stuck by you for 3 years, 4 years. We went toe to toe and shared a locker room. Like, dude, the fact that you made it out of all of that and you were able to live out your dream and just to be able to watch you live out your dream, dude, like it inspires me. And by inspiring me, I'm taking that energy and giving it back to these people. So just know that like everybody on this call in some way, shape, or form is inspired by what you've done and how you've gotten to where you're ultimately at. So hats off to you, man.
Yeah,
I've got
appreciate
a
it.
question in the chat from Mike Mejia. He wanted to know if you were always a pitcher or if you were a hitter in high school, two-way guy. Like, how did that work
Yeah,
out?
yeah. I hit all the way up until my senior year of high school. Once I went to junior college, I became a pitcher only. I probably should have became a pitcher only after my sophomore year of high school, but I like how pitchers are. We like to say we can hit. Not everyone's like Dela. That's a shortstop in pitches, but yeah, I hit up until my senior year of high school, and then I gave it up, became a pitcher only.
Heck yeah. If anybody has any questions, make sure to put them in the chat or just simply raise your hand. If not, I'm just going to keep asking questions until either one, we're done, or until Nick gets annoyed and leaves. So my next question for you would be like, just go ahead and give us who your favorite person that you've either played with or somebody like super cool that you've struck out or gotten out. Like, what has that been like?
Yeah, man, it's hard to hone in on one teammate that's my favorite, because I think every single teammate that I've come across has honestly helped me get to where I'm at today. Um, so yeah, it's tough for me to say a teammate. I say all my teammates are great, right? Even the best friends that I have, and even the teammates that I don't necessarily like, right? Because we're always going to have that. But I think everyone has kind of taught me the do's and the don'ts. You're going to have a teammate. You're like, I'm not going to be like that guy, right? Or you're going to have a teammate that kind of holds a value that you hold on to, right? That you adopt. So I say all your teammates across the board are extremely important.
Nice.
Getting people out, man. I think every single out that I get in the big leagues is awesome. So I'm not going to say one guy. I say all of them, right? I want to strike them all out, and it's great.
Nice. We got a question from John. John, if you want to unmute yourself, ask your question, brother.
Okay. Um, my question is, so like when you're on the mound and you have like a good rhythm,
Mhm.
so say you lose your rhythm, say like your upper half isn't catching up with your lower half. What type of drills would you consider doing to help find that rhythm again?
Is that are you talking about like in game?
The yes and no. Like what would you do different?
Right. So like something for me, and it's kind of how to teach myself as you get older, right? When you're in game, I like to tell people to not think mechanically, right? When you toe that rubber, it's all about competing. Um, there's gonna be, I mean, to this day, like I don't have the same mechanics for every single throw that I make, or every pitch that I make. Um, and I honestly don't even think about mechanics when I'm on that mound. I just try and figure out what like just kind of feeling on what I need to do to command the strike zone. Um, there's been times, yeah, you get a little shaky or you're missing high and away or glove side down and in. You just kind of just take a step back off the mound and deep breath and kind of hit a reset and just kind of refocus back in on the catcher's mitt and attacking that zone.
Great question there, John. John's one of our college guys. He's a fifth year senior, grinding, trying to do anything that he can to take that next step forward.
Awesome.
Next question is from David's iPhone. Not too sure, but it says, "My son, who is 14, keeps bugging me about creatine. What are your thoughts on that?" I will say for everybody, for the chat and for the video that's being recorded, Nick is not a licensed professional. He can only speak on his own experience. So this is not medical advice, but talk about your creatine.
Yeah, yeah, like Taylor said, I'm not certified in that area. Creatine is something that I take. I guess it's one of the most studied supplements out there. 14 years old, man, just go to the weight room and eat and lift and throw and yeah, if you want to start taking creatine, that's great. Be realistic about it. But yeah, I mean, creatine is something that I take daily. And yeah, if you want to take it, I mean, it won't hurt. Just make sure you drink a lot of water.
Definitely, definitely. If you're looking at getting on creatine at 14, that's probably around the age most people start to consider it. Like, definitely make sure that you speak with your physician about it and then go from there. But it, like Nick said, it is one of the most, actually, it's not one of the most, it is the most studied supplement on the market, and a lot of high level athletes take it. But that does not mean that every person needs to take it at 14 years old. Again, consult with your physician there. Next question is from Evan Long here. What's the biggest takeaway from your journey so far? And then how do you keep yourself from getting too high during success and too low during failure? So a two-part question.
What was the first part of that question?
Yep. What's the biggest takeaway from your journey so far?
Um, you know, being I mean, pitching at the big league level is kind of like a dream come true. I would say it's a testament to my hard work up until this point. I mean, my career is not over by any means. I'm still continuing to play and do that. So I would say it's a testament to my hard work and to my support system. I couldn't have got here without my parents, my brothers, and everyone else that walked alongside me. So it's great to be able to get that title of being a big leaguer, but no, I would say, yeah, just hard work. It's what it took to get here, and that's my biggest takeaway from it. The high to low thing, you know, your highs are really high in the big leagues. Having success up there is something we all work for and want to do. Um, but it's honestly easier to deal with the high. It's a lot easier to go about your day when you're going right. Your lows, something I do is look back at the journey to get to where I'm at. Your career's not over after one bad outing or two bad outings, three bad outings, four bad outings. I mean, stuff is going to happen. Baseball is a game of failures. So kind of just going back to the drawing board and being like, hey, you worked your whole life to get up until this point. Don't give up on yourself. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Definitely, definitely. I'm going to ask this question. I know there's some more before this, but I know that this guy's got to leave. Evan Wise. Evan Wise is my pitching coach from college. He also worked in the Wake Forest pitching lab. He was a pro scout with the Mets. Knows you well, like he follows baseball guru. He's also somebody that I work hand in hand with in, developing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now. But his question is, how'd you handle the move to the bullpen in 2021?
Yeah. So my going back on the start of my professional career, I was kind of a swing guy, would be in the pen, would start some games in junior college, got drafted as a reliever, did rookie ball as a reliever. And each year that I went through my professional career was kind of a reliever, starter, reliever, starter, reliever, starter. Um, I always thought in the back of my head that I was going to be in the bullpen one day, and that's where I was going to stick. So it was kind of a solid. It was like, hey, you're going to be in the bullpen, and I honed in on that and honed in on my arsenal, and kind of figured out what I can do to have success out of the bullpen.
And then second part of that question is how do you handle pitching in both AAA and the big leagues? And then does it get to you? And then how do you handle with like that, coping with that feeling of being
Yeah,
high and being
yeah,
back?
yeah, yeah. No, that's a great question. You know, for me, it's kind of like looking back again. It's kind of when I get sent back to AAA or I get called up to the big leagues. It's kind of like, hey, this is where you want to be. You can't get any higher than this, and you're playing against the best talent in the world. So, obviously, adrenaline and focus kind of takes over at the big league level. When I go back down to AAA, it's kind of like, hey, I want to go back to the big leagues. So I'm not going to come back down here to AAA and kind of putz around. It's time to go back to work. And for me, I've never felt like I got sent back to AAA because I needed to really work on something. It's kind of just how the rosters fluctuate throughout a major league career. And yeah, just kind of stayed hungry. Focused on what I need to do to get big league hitters out, and that's what I would do in AAA. Kind of the same attack plan as I would playing against the Yankees or playing against Scranton, their AAA team. I would do the same exact thing because I know if I can do it in the AAA level, doing it up in the big leagues, it's kind of, I don't want to say they're similar levels because they're not. It's a big jump, but the game of baseball doesn't change. And when you focus on your game and you have success in the game, I think you can have success at any level.
Yeah. That's a great mindset to have too, when going back down and being put back in down to the AAA level. A lot of guys might take it as like, oh, I'm not good enough to pitch in the big leagues, or for the high school level, if you're getting on varsity and then going back down to JV, it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. And it's just like, no, simply your mindset is just like, hey, this is how the roster shakes out. This is where I need to be in order for the organization to have success. And when it's my time to come back up and be implemented into the team, like I'll be there, ready. So I think that's a great mindset to be able to share with a lot of these young kids and parents as well. Um, Next question here comes from Luke. How often do you play around with your pitch grips?
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of up until I would say my first year of my professional career. I kind of had a pretty solid foundation on how I threw my pitches. Obviously, there's little tweaking and learning new things because pitch development it's endless, right? Like just like hitting, the way the game evolves and how there's so much science behind throwing different pitches and stuff. For me, thankfully, I was taught my slider in rookie ball by Wilson Alvarez. He was a guy that pitched in the big leagues for a long time.
That's
Um,
the fastball.
yeah, but he taught me my pitch there and kind of just honed in. Like I was saying earlier, I kind of figured out what I did well and I attacked that, and I did that over and over and over again. And then also found my weaknesses, right? Like the shape of my fastball, the shape of my curveball, just tweaking little stuff. But overall, like really changing, like a drastic change in my pitch grips, I would say I haven't done that. Some guys do, but thankfully for me, I haven't had to. So
Yeah. Keep the main thing the main thing. If it works, don't change it.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There it is. There it is. This question comes from Michael Mejia. What was your velo in high school?
Ooh, okay. So my freshman year, it was, well, I'll just say overall, I touched 88. My sophomore year of high school. That was the hardest I threw. When I graduated high school, I was 85 to 87.
This question comes from Brian Moorhart. How do you keep confidence after getting beat on the field? I know that you've given up homers. I know that you've given up
Yeah,
at closer. You want to talk about, your role in AAA. I think you're a closer for the most part. How do you deal
yeah,
with
yeah. No, going back on, hey, baseball is a game of failures, right? You're gonna fail more times than you're gonna succeed. Um, and honestly accepting that and kind of learning from the mistakes you made and kind of building off of that. You never say you lose. You always learn. You don't lose, you learn. And kind of having that mindset on things, because yeah, you're gonna get beat and it's gonna hurt, but just know, if you have confidence that, hey, if I face this guy 10 more times, I'm gonna get him out. He got me this one time, I'll tip my cap, but hey, the next time I face you, you're mine.
Heck yeah. There you go. Take that, Brian. This one comes from Luca Bonura. Sorry if I mispronounced that there. What was your favorite pitch to throw in high school, college, and to this day?
I would say in high school, I commanded my fastball pretty well. It was kind of fun to kind of nitpick the strike zone. And I had a pretty good curveball too. College, it was my curveball, and then in pro ball, it's my slider.
Very nice. Very nice. This one comes from Topher. What are things that you do to stay mentally tough during the season? Great question there, Topher.
Yeah, I think it's staying humble, being hungry, and learning and trusting the process that you've had to get up until this point, right? Um, being where your feet are. You are where you are for a reason, and you're playing ball. If you got the ball in high school, right, your coaches put you up there for a reason, and just knowing that when it's your time to shine, or it's your time to help your team win, that you're him. I get kids nowadays, you're him. And kind of carrying that confidence, because that confidence is extremely contagious. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant," but there is a fine line to it. But just kind of carrying that confidence helps.
This is a really good question as well. So, do you ever feel burnt out or want to take a break from baseball?
That's a great question. I guess baseball for me is a job. So just like any job, you're not normal 9 to 5 job. Yeah, you get a little burnt out. But staying in that mindset of for me, it's like, hey, I can make life changing money one day. And I'm playing at the highest level, so that's something that kind of keeps you on the field and motivated. I also love the game of baseball, right? Like I've played, I've had a long journey up to this point, and I would much rather wear a jersey somewhere than working a normal job. And I've kind of been blessed with that opportunity. So the whole burnt out thing is kind of, it's gone now. I hope I don't feel that way until it's time for me to retire. But this is a lifestyle for me, and it's literally a way of life for me. And no, I don't get burnt out by it. I love this game more than anything, and here we are today.
Real quick, can you touch on when you say baseball lifestyle? Like, I think a lot of kids these days, talk about it and want to be about it, but you're somebody who's living it every single day. Like, what does it really mean to live a baseball lifestyle?
It's extremely rewarding, right? Like, when you tell people that you play professional baseball, everyone always kind of gives you that extra attention. But just being a baseball player and being a teammate at any level, man. I've honestly learned more from guys that aren't in this game anymore, and kind of reached back out to me at the professional level, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, I really miss playing baseball, and gosh, you're so lucky." And but just kind of like embracing that. And baseball lifestyle it literally teaches you. It's the game of life. Like I touched on earlier, being a good teammate, will bring you far longer in life than any. Um, Being a better brother, or if you have any siblings, being a better kid for your parents. I don't know. For me, I think playing baseball. I mean, even at the high school level, like it's extremely rewarding to be able to wear a uniform and represent a team. And I know it kind of sounds cheesy, but dude, it's really like big picture. It's really important that everyone enjoys that moment and what I want to say. It just kind of embrace that, embrace the baseball lifestyle, right? Embrace that you're a baseball player. Kind of hold yourself to a higher standard because hey, you're an athlete, right? Like you kind of everyone's got their outlooks on athletes and just be a good person.
Yeah. Great answer, man. Great answer. We got two more here. This one comes from Wesley Gabriel. During a game, when you lose feel for a pitch, how do you regain your ability to throw that pitch well? I'll
Yeah,
tell you,
I guess.
Wes, I never found it again, and I just scrapped it for the rest of the game. That's how
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it.
There's that, right? So there's guys that have like a big pitch arsenal, and they're able to scratch that. Especially for starters. Like I'll talk to a lot of starters, and let's say they go in the game with they have 5 pitches in their arsenal. They're warming up in the bullpen, and man, that changeup is just not doing it right. Sometimes they'll just bang that pitch and they won't throw it that day. For me, I feel like I have 100% confidence in every pitch that I throw, and I feel like every single time you throw a pitch with conviction, man, I've thrown fastballs 55 feet and I'm getting a swing at it because I threw it with conviction. And then I've also thrown sliders that or a fastball that I've you know dotted on the outside corner and it gets hammered, right? Because I didn't necessarily throw it with conviction. But when you're on the mound, you're not going to be 100%. The it's a crazy it's a crazy thing, but yeah, you're not going to be 100%. I forget like the stats on it all, but
It's like
let's
80, it's like 80% of the time that you're out there, like you
yeah,
feel less than
yeah.
90%.
You just don't feel right, or that pitch doesn't feel right. But if you trust it and you throw that pitch with conviction, I mean, you're gonna get it out. And when you're competing in the zone, you're gonna get outs. I mean, it's hard to hit.
And then last questions here. Out of all the guys you've faced in your career, who was the toughest out? You kind of touched on that. And then what's it like in the clubhouse when you are losing games or the games aren't going your way? So toughest out, and what's the clubhouse like?
Yeah. Um, Man, toughest out. Yeah, I guess I'll say Juan Soto, right? I faced him all through the minor leagues and now face him in the big leagues. I would say he's probably one of the toughest outs. It's kind of crazy because it's a lefty lefty matchup. But that kid just knows the zone so well. That if you nibble the strike zone, he's not swinging at it, and anything in that box, he is hammering it. So I would say he is probably one of the tougher outs in the big leagues. Um, and the question about the clubhouse, when you're a good clubhouse guy, right, and your team's losing, and it's kind of a different dynamic at the big league level because it kind of becomes a little more business. But I say like the high school college level, like when you got a group of guys that are kind of working for one another and competing for one another, there's going to be times where you go on losing streaks and maybe a couple guys are going through some slumps, but being a good teammate, right? Win lose, you think the rest of your team's great. I think that holds a lot of value in the clubhouse because when you do have success, people will celebrate you, and when you aren't having success, people are going to pick you up, and that's why I was saying earlier that being a good teammate in this game is the most important thing, honestly, that you can do. So yeah, if you're in a losing streak or you're slumping, be a good teammate, man. I mean, karma's real, and I don't know about you guys, but I believe in the baseball gods, and man, just go about things the right way, man. I mean, there's been times that I've struggled a lot. You know, this year I actually struggled in AAA for a little bit. Just kind of mentally was going through it, and but you know what I focused on every day? I was focused on being a good teammate and just being there for the guys around me, because you know you're all in this together, and yeah, just focus on that. I think will really help you.
Nice. Last question. We had one more sneak in here. At what age, and he did play multiple sports, what age did you narrow it down in high school? I think we got a lot of people here who are hearing from the outside world, like, hey, it's great to play multiple sports. And then you get coaches that are just like, no, like maybe you should make it more specific. I'll answer that on my part real quick. I think if you have the ability to successfully play multiple sports at a high level, like play them as long as you can. And when I'm saying at a high level, I'm talking about like having success, being a starter, being a guy. But sooner or later, you know, most athletes, and when I say most, I mean pretty much every single one, but like 1% of the 1% are going to go play multiple sports in college. Like at some point, you need to realize that, you know, there's people out there who are focusing on their sport and getting a little bit more specific with it. And, you know, that does come at an advantage. You know, if you're playing football, basketball, and baseball, and I'm only playing baseball, and I'm getting reps and I'm getting live looks and I'm getting my bullpens in, like, of course, it's a no-brainer that I'm probably going to get better than you at a faster clip. But also, if you can play sports at a high level and compete at a high level, and when I say compete at a high level, I'm like talking you could get a potential offer to go to these places. Like that, then maybe you play for a little bit longer. But if you have serious interest in playing sports at the college level, you know, for me, I gave it up my junior year of high school, and that's kind of when I, you know, gave up football and basketball. I don't know about you, Nick, but I would say maybe junior year is when you should really start to question what sport am I trying to go play college
Yeah,
at? Do these sports really help me get to that point?
yeah, no, I'll piggyback off that. It was my junior year that I what just only played baseball. And yeah, that's it's something serious that, you know, if you're good at basketball and you're not necessarily that good at baseball, and you're getting basketball offers, you know, kind of honing in on that one sport is super important. But playing at a high level and being the best athlete possible is extremely important too. Um, yeah, if you can play baseball and get your reps in, and also play football during football season or basketball during basketball season, man, enjoy that stuff while it lasts. But also knowing that, you know, whatever sport that's going to take you to the next level is, it needs to be taken super serious.
Awesome. Well, Nick, man, that wraps us up, dude. I really appreciate your time. I know that everybody here appreciates you, you know, taking some time out of your day to share the knowledge that you've gained over your career in baseball. Is there any last words that you have to give to everybody to kind of take food for thought? You know, anything that you want to say to close it all up for us?
Yeah, no, just thanks for listening to me. This was great. This was honestly the first time I've ever done anything like this, and this was awesome. Best of luck with everyone. Parents, good luck with your kids. Kids, keep grinding. Really enjoy the process on how all this works, because you never know when it's your last day to toe that rubber or take the mound or to play on the field. And just really enjoy the process of it all, and just be positive. The game of baseball is a great escape, and man, just enjoy it all.
Nick, you're the absolute man, dude. We look forward to seeing you in the big leagues for the next couple of years to come. Maybe an all-star. We'll see. Would love to
Maybe
see that. Would
that'd
love to
be
see
great.
that.
That'd be great.
But until then, dude, best of luck, and we wish you nothing but the best, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
best of
you.
luck with all you guys. Thanks for having me, brother.
All right. Take care.